Hey there, superstars. His name is Aaron, and he is 3 levels away from learning Bubble Beam.
And his name's Tommy. That's Tommy with a soft Y.
And this is the Super Pod Saga. Yes, the Super Pod Saga is what you're listening to. This is the podcast where Aaron and me and a guest, sometimes 2 guests, sometimes 3 guests, but we've never done that yet. We talk about video games. We bring a different topic every week, and then we talk about it. And that's the show?
That is the show, I think. Yeah, we're on episode 43?
Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows?
No, this is 44.
44, okay. And if it's not that, then it's 45 for sure. And
one of those.
Today, the podcast is bursting at the seams. We're being held together by flex tape because we have 2 guests. We have Jon and James from Games with Jon and James. Hello, Jon and or James. How are you both? Yeah, I'm putting on you to decide who talks first.
I love it.
I like how when you said the flex tape thing, I was just like, flex tape? Oh, yeah?
Sun's out, his guns aren't out.
Hold on, what time is it? Oh, flex.
Why don't you both take turns telling us about yourselves, about what video games you like, and tell us about your podcast, if that's what it is. I didn't ask beforehand.
Hey, totally fine. James, if you'd like to take the reins, by all means.
So we're from the Games with Jon and James podcast. Jon is our resident Sonic /platformer / somewhat anarchist when it comes to video games. I'm your resident JRPG expert. All things RPG are my jam. We like to poke the bear at each other every now and then. You know, Sonic and the Secret Rings being the best Sonic game of all time.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Pause for effect.
Put the dramatic chipmunk music in here. Uh-huh.
Yes.
So fun for your listeners. Hopefully you get a good laugh out of this. I played a game of Virus with Jon where I purchased 52 copies of Sonic and the Secret Rings. And every week, a new copy got put into play.
Wow.
There is still a copy in the box with all those Bobo Sonic toys you bought me. It's still in the box sitting on top of my cabinet. I'm just like, what am I going to do with these? Oh, burn them.
I feel so bad for your bank account and or credit score.
Hey, they were $1 each.
I am seeing
nice.
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon in my head where I see James walking up to get a loan from the bank. It's like, you want a loan for what again?
52 copies.
$52
To torture
plus
my
tax.
friend. But yes, in terms of introductions, my name is Jon. A bit of well, I will wholly embrace the title of kind of platform fan, Sonic fan, and also would-be anarchist of the group. I do have a very stringent opinions when it comes to things like video games and game design, so I tend to be very headstrong in that capacity, but I think the fact that we have that kind of dynamic really balances out the podcast where we can talk about big blue ocean type topics and then get really opinionated about why Horizon Zero Dawn is the worst version of the best version of the worst type of open world game. But
Damn.
and in terms of credentials, I would say I did go to school for game design and briefly did work as a 2D artist for Zynga for a little while. Cool. So I bring that up because we're all nerds. We like, accreditation. So
You're an educated nerd.
Exactly. So I went to game design school. I have a degree. I'm a grown man.
You got a grown man on the podcast. Oh, dang.
Yeah, this is now the big man show with James.
Oh, yes. I'm a big man, too. 6'2", baby.
Big man, another other big man.
Yeah. Where, if people want to listen to your podcast, where can they find it? And if you have social media pages, where are those?
So you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast. Just look for Games with Jon and James. We are on Instagram at Games with Jon and James. TikTok, same way. Facebook, if you search J Russell, my personal page has literally transformed into our Facebook podcast page. So join me for some really hot takes. For example, Horizon Zero Dawn is better than Breath of the Wild. Full stop, full send.
Ooh. This is fun. Oh, that face.
The second time I've watched this man step up on stage and set himself on fire.
Oh, man. Aaron, where can people find us? They want to find us, too.
if they want to, if they can track us down through Bloodhounds and superpodsaga.com, they can find our previous episodes, our blog page, our support section where they could give us money through Patreon if they want to, and we've got some stuff coming. I say this every episode that we have stuff coming, but I promise we do have stuff coming. I promise.
Yeah, we make stuff sometimes.
Sometimes we do, but I promise.
Just grabbing people by the shirt, just like, I promise.
It's gonna be different this time.
Just wait a month.
Just give me one more chance, baby.
I want your $2.
Oh, it's $2 now. Oh, I'm out.
Look, gimme. My name is Jimmy.
Didn't I ask you in one episode why we don't call you Jim on this show? Anyway,
that's why we're Ron and Tom, Super Pod Saga. That's us.
Mm-hmm. So we mentioned that we're on, Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that kind of stuff. I just recently downloaded the Audible app on my phone, and there's a review, a 5-star review, and I want to read it. It says, "Great choice in music and discussion topics. Excited to continue seeing where this series goes. Thank you, Gary O. White. That was a year ago, but we finally saw it. Thank you."
You can leave podcast reviews on Audible? What the hell?
Apparently.
I mean, hey, this is news to me. Also, thank you, Gary. I really do pick good music.
Aaron, speaking of being covered in sweat and blood, what is our topic today?
I am covered in all sorts of bodily fluids today because we're talking about our favorite, or I guess going by the titles of our previous episodes, best game protagonists,
best or favorite
favorites
game protagonists.
I never know anymore. It seems like every other episode it'll be best or favorite, and I don't know what to put anymore.
Coolest.
Best favorites.
What
your favorite bests? I'm also kind of stuck on bodily fluids because you still haven't said you're welcome.
Oh, my bad. Thank you. Are you welcome? No? Yeah.
I don't know.
You still haven't said thank you. That was the joke. Even when I had time to work out the joke in my head. Oh my god.
This is what I deal with, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Usually we edit funnier things into the show. Just cut me out completely.
I love it. What do you guys look for in what makes a good video game protagonist to you? I'm curious to hear.
So it depends, right? So I'm the diehard JRPG guy. Aaron and I, we have something in the making, courtesy of my mic not being plugged in. We have to reshoot it, but quote Aaron and his goblins bouncing around in his brain for JRPGs, right? You can have your silent protagonist, which can be cool, like Chrono and Chrono Trigger. Mm-hmm. Super cool protagonist, even though he didn't say a damn word.
He said one line in that entire game.
Fair. He said one line. Or, you can have like the overly talkative one, like the main character from Tales of the Abyss, where you're secretly hoping he just dies. I'm all for like growth and progression, but I'm a big sucker for old silent protagonists as well as like the new age.
Yeah, I'm curious to see because when I was making my list, I found out that I definitely side more towards the talkative ones. So I'm excited to see our differences of opinions. Let's see.
Immediately, I'm the one who's like, I like silent protagonists a lot.
Yeah.
I like things that revolve more around themes and world building and stuff. So yeah,
exactly. We're all gonna have an open discussion. Everyone's gonna get mad.
I'm ready for it.
It's not a nerd talk if no one's dying at the end.
Yeah. Since there's 4 of us, I think we'll have Aaron and then John and then me and then James. How's that sound? I just made that order.
Sounds
up right
good
now.
to me.
Okay.
As long as James goes last, I'm okay with it.
Aaron, start us off.
Okay. My first one, I'm going with Ichiban Kasuga.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the right way. Yeah.
The guy with the spiky hair from Like a Dragon?
Yeah, well, he has an afro, but yeah.
I had his hair in high school. I know what it is.
But yeah, Ichiban, he's just the most likable dude on the planet. He's just this big old giant teddy bear. He'd do anything for his friends. Almost loyal to a fault, like you see at the beginning of the game where he takes a bullet for his I forgot what the name of his boss was. Damn it. But yeah, Ichiban is just great. And that one part where Nanba leaves and then comes back, and then they're talking about how much they love each other, like that hit me right in the bones. That was good. Ichiban, everybody. He's great.
Major props, because I can't imagine having, what was it, 6 or 7 Yakuzas and then being like, we're going to do a new main character. That's got to be so tough.
They did a really, really good job on that one, too. Like, all the characters are cool. Like, Adachi, he's awesome. Nanba, all of them, they're all great. Like, they all have their own little, I guess, like, character arcs, because you'll, like, hang out at the bar with them, and they'll be like, I have a problem. And then Ichiban will be like, I can help. Like Adachi-san is like, hey, I've been sending money to this kid whose dad I put in prison or something. And Ichiban's like, oh, that's sick, bro. How can I help? And then they go do stuff together. Or like, Nanbo will be like, I used to be a nurse, but I stole drugs. And Adachi's like, that sucks dick, bro. But like, how can I help? And he's just always there to help them over like a drink or two.
We'll give the drugs back. It's bulletproof.
It's gotta work, right?
A victimless crime.
Mm-hmm. Just like every addiction.
Ooh, but yeah, I love the dude. He's so great. And then he's just a big old nerd too. He's like, I love Dragon Quest. So like, my life is Dragon Quest. I'm a legendary hero. And he's got that like baseball bat with nails all over it. Like, this is my hero sword. And
it's
like
proof positive. It's proof positive you can be a nerd and also a badass.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
He's
aspirational.
It's nice when a game doesn't take itself seriously and just lets itself go over the top, and it's so rewarding just even like hearing his dialogue, because he cares about the weirdest things, but then at the same time he's basically like, yeah, cool, burn it down, I don't care.
No attachments, I'm homeless, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
What about you, John?
Yeah, John.
So the first draft pick here. So as I was approaching this episode, I was thinking about just the lineage of every game I've played. And so when we say best and favorite and stuff, like, while I'm sure James is even expecting me to pick Sonic the Hedgehog right off the bat, because I can literally spend the next hour talking about why he's a good character, I think I'm actually going to have to go with something that is not out of left field, but it's out of left field for me.
Ooh.
I'm going to be picking Link from the Legend of Zelda series.
I know him.
Very much a silent protagonist and very much a vessel for which the game to be served through and the story to be played through him. But as we have seen, the cool thing about Link as a character, or at least as a character archetype, is the fact that he can literally be anybody. Because in Wind Waker, he's a kid, and it's his birthday, and it's the tradition to wear the green uniform and all that kind of stuff. In Ocarina of Time, he's, again, also just a kid who realizes, like, hey, you're not who you seem. There's an adventure waiting for you out there, so go do it. Or even in just now with Breath of the Wild, where like, even like in the side games, you play the Hyrule Warriors games, so it's like, he's just a noble knight serving like a normal knight would do, and then he kind of gets spirited away into this journey with the princess and all these people. So the fact that the legendary hero can be literally anybody from anywhere, it's pretty sweet. So I think it serves the games really well, because it allows them to have the flexibility to do whatever they want with it. Also, to even allow, like, crazy enough, some actual role-playing with the type of character you're playing as you're playing Link. Like, that's, I think, why people to this day are still like, yeah, don't give him a voice. Like, don't make him talk. Because the 2 times we've heard him talk are, great, I'll grab my stuff, and excuse me. Yes. So, like, and we realize that's a take. Probably not the best one, but I would say definitely Link is up there in terms of protagonists. Like, the story and the franchise would not exist to this day if there wasn't something about it. Not just Nintendo. Like, Nintendo is willing to throw away franchises left and right if they don't make like 1 million sales, or they don't think of some way to make the steering work in Star Fox Zero. You know what I mean? So the fact that it's lasted this long and is this prestigious, and for a fact that when we're done recording, I'm jumping right back into Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, me too. I literally stopped to record this, and I'm going to jump back.
Shut up.
I mean, for all of you Legend of Zelda fans, I mean, it might be the end of the story, because they're bringing back the long-lost Philips CDI games to where you get to experience that version of Link. So it was nice knowing you, Talking Link.
J'accuse.
Very well said, though. I agree completely that Link is so much. He can be so much deeper than he appears on surface level.
And
I love that too. Like, I like when the characters actually serve the meaning and the themes and the motifs of the story. So like, even the whole transition of Breath of the Wild was just like, oh, even Link doesn't know who he is. Well, we're going to find that out together.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have very high regards for silent protagonists until just now. You guys did an awesome job of, I guess, changing my mind on the whole thing, because that makes sense the way you guys explained it. I always thought that, like, silent protagonists were just kind of like not necessarily lazy, but like just all right.
Empty.
But yeah, basically, yeah. Thank you.
Kudos.
Thank you for showing me the way.
This is what happens when you allow me to proselytize.
My first pick, I think I'm gonna go with Lee Everett from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
That's gonna be my first pick.
Interesting thing for a video game show, but okay.
the Walking Dead video game. Excuse me.
Okay, crisis averted.
Lee is put into like the worst situation imaginable. He's a dude who's like in the back of a cop car, and it crashes, and then bam, he's in a zombie apocalypse, and he's taking care of this girl that he rescued, and having to navigate that world, having to make really hard choices while also having this person that you care about that you just met. Like, that's tough. And he handles it well. He puts her first. He does everything he can to make sure that even after he's gone, she'll be able to survive. And it's just it got to me pretty good by the end, and I don't know, I love that experience. It's something we see kind of a lot now in video games, is the dad protecting the kid, but
yeah,
back then that was kind of one of the, I don't want to say one of the first, but that was one of the first that I played where I was like, dang, this is reaching things that I didn't know I had in me.
It was this or the American localization of Nier. Take your pick.
Yeah, I definitely didn't play that back at that time.
I don't think anybody did.
No comment.
That's a good pick, though. I always forget that the Telltale Walking Dead series exists, even though I played the absolute fuck out of it until like that very last episode. And I use this phrase a lot, but it ruined me. Oh man, that last episode.
That was a fun time. I liked the episodic nature, because every couple of months it would be like, oh, there's a new game to play, and it's like waiting 2 months to see what comes next instead of 5 years was nice at the time.
It definitely knew how to hook you and keep you engaged.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, speaking of addiction.
Yeah.
All four of us have a problem that we readily admit.
Yep. Speaking of addiction,
I was gonna make it way too real. Never mind.
James, what hard drugs are you addicted to?
Oh,
we've heard it's JRPGs.
JRPGs.
Oh, that's a tough one to quit.
Yeah, I mean, my backlog is now at like 380 games and counting. You know, one day I'll get through them.
That's literally a lifetime of hours of just pointlessly long storytelling.
That's still infinitely better than Sonic.
See, I like the way you lie, because you even don't believe it as you say it.
So honestly, like, I was debating for my first pick. Obviously, I have my series picks that I'm gonna do, but I always appreciate when a protagonist, even if it's not the main protagonist, like say you get one of the like side protagonists, Robbins from the Alliance Alive.
Go on.
What is this list so far?
Spoiler for you. Sorry about that, Aaron. But
that's okay.
Robbins...
I'll deafen the whole conversation. So I'm just gonna go for it, man.
Robbins is a optional character that you can pick up kind of later on in the game. So the whole premise of Alliance Alive is the world's divided and the different races are kind of like at odds. So you're getting kind of like a pseudo view into real life, and it's kind of cool, like seeing how they do it. And then Robbins comes along, who's this penguin who's literally like, if you feed me, I'll fight with you. So you give him a fish, and then every single serious event, he's there talking. You're getting ready to try and find a wyvern so you can fly around on one of the continents, and he's like, yeah, I got this. Walks away, comes back, he's like, yeah, I don't got this, good luck, guys, and just like wanders off.
Why do I immediately picture the penguin from Evangelion?
Hey, maybe that's the inspiration.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that penguin could throw down if you gave him a fish, but they never did.
My biggest like criticism for JRPGs is sometimes they take themselves too seriously to the point that what the gravitas nuance of the situation they're trying to express, it fails. So when you have a character like Robbins who can bring that lighthearted, like what you actually want to enjoy and like tone it down, everything hits just so much better. And I mean, literally at one point, he's like, if you don't feed me, I'm going to hit on you. Like, what?
Hit on you or hit you? Those are very different things. Oh my god.
Nice. Oh
So-
my god.
I gotta get
That's
flirted with
like-
by a penguin.
Yeah, no, that's literally my deep cut. Like I love that game. Aaron and I nerded out. Like I shared some music with it, and he was literally like, "Why the
Yep.
fuck didn't you tell me this music slapped?"
And after we recorded too, I saw that the HD version was on sale on Switch for like $7. Bought it, and I don't know how far I am through it, but it's good, dude. I mean, if I know John doesn't like, and Tommy doesn't care for JRPGs either, but listeners, it's good. It's fun.
I care. I just don't have the time.
I just can't believe you would make that assertion. Like, I just can't believe it. I'm devastated right now.
Didn't. I mean, James told me that. No, I'm sorry. I love you.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm totally joking. I have no time.
I'm just getting thrown under the bus. I
just
love
like
this
the-
show.
I just like the idea of this really placid comment being followed up with, "How dare you?"
Yeah, you come onto our show and I insult the fuck out of you.
Well, we're friends,
Publicly
dude.
insult.
You're my punching bag for the next hour.
Oh shit.
Let's go. This one punches back.
Speaking of speaking of punching bags.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going with Leon S. Kennedy, baby.
Oh, dang.
Ooh.
Big boy himself. I haven't played a lot of RE2, but I've played RE4 like 8 million times over.
On
And
8
Leon-
million consoles, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Even on the Zevo?
I don't know. What the fuck is that? Is that even real?
It's a real console. It was released in Brazil, and they wanted to make like their own domestic console, and it had a Resident Evil 4 on it.
I bet if the KF console ever was released,
the
Resident
KFC
Evil 4
console.
would be on sale.
Oh
Or
hell yeah!
fuck.
And then
Resident Evil 4
they
would be on there.
and they do the Moushley thing, but only she'd be a chicken.
Yes. The
Hey,
Colonel's daughter.
Yeah, they replaced the president with the colonel.
Oh my
All
god!
the,
I would equip the colonel with ballistics too. Well, I dare say.
All of the herbs are replaced by the different herbs and spices
Yes.
used for the chicken.
This is too
Like-
perfect.
like-
You're
Like
looking good.
Like
Oh.
the green herb is something, and like the red herb and like the yellow herb, and like when you have them all together, full healing and a max health increase, baby. That's how good it is. Thanks,
I mean, a
Colonel.
personal animation where it zooms in and they're just like, finger licking good.
It's finger licking good, and it's a zombie.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
like, chicken.
I think we just
Oh,
invented
man.
our own game.
I think we did.
I think we did. Get Capcom on. Get John Capcom on the phone.
Jonathan Capcom himself, dude. Holy Christ! Well, fuck. Where was I going with this?
We started talking
Before we
about
had to
Leon
gear
S.
up my
Kennedy.
chicken. Okay, that's
It
right.
did
yeah,
not get
so-
far at all.
Because everybody just knows. We know why he's here.
The chicken.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah. Oh, so Leon is just, again, he's just the most likable dude on the planet. You know, this was around the time the Resident Evil 4 came out. A lot of other video game protagonists were just dickheads for no reason. Kratos, I guess, isn't a good example because he's just a dickhead nonetheless. But there were a lot of video game protagonists that they would just be douchebags and come across like companions of other people and just be like, "Hey, fuck you! You want to join me? Okay, but fuck you! Let's go!" Like,
And there's a part of me that's just like, the good old days.
That was cool back then.
2004. Yeah. But yeah, Leon, like, he picks up Ashley and he's just like, "Hey, don't, like, chill the hell out." Or it's not. He's just like, "Hey, like, cool it. I'm here to protect you. I'll get you home safely. Just trust me. I promise. We'll get you home. Just cool it and you'll be all right." And then sure enough, he does. She gets captured like 40 billion times. She gets a suit of armor at one point. That's cool. Leon S. Kennedy, he's just cool. He just starts off as like this rookie cop in RE2, and then by the time you get to, I don't know what the length of time is between RE2 and 4, but like now he's a federal agent, and he's like, "Hey, Sadler, up yours, haha," and then he shoots him in the face to death, and then Resident Evil 4, that's Leon, everybody.
I like to imagine a scenario where someone gets shot in the face and they somehow live.
That's the director's cut of Resident Evil 4. It's the ending. He just like kicks Sadler in the stomach and then shoots him in the head like 5 times.
I was gonna say,
don't come back.
It's 50 Cent Bulletproof and Blood on the Sand, whatever your poison.
Oh, that's good.
Oh man, I gotta add
Those
50
games
Cent
are
to my list real quick.
Yes, you do. Everybody, make sure we give a shout out. I want some free vitamin water.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Wasn't that in Cribs? He had like a fucking fridge full of vitamin water, or was that somebody else?
I'm pretty sure.
No,
that's
so
it.
that was 50
Okay.
Cent. Like that man gamed them so hard. They were like, "We're gonna give you 500 grand," and he's like, "No, I want percentage points and royalties." So now forevermore, he is like I think it's like a 3% owner of vitamin water. Like that dude
Oh
is
my
like
god, dude.
beyond set. Big
Dang.
genius moves.
Shout out to
Businessman.
Cribs. Cribs was cool.
And he's going on tour again this year. And your boy is seeing him because I'm a basic 2000s bitch.
Nice.
Hell yeah, dude. Super Pod Saga is the vitamin water of podcasts.
I think that's true.
Yep.
What would that make us, James? What would that make us?
Not the vitamin water.
He's
It
right.
would be like the Viso. Sponsor us, Viso, please. I want more juice.
Riso? I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
I'm the
that
only
real?
one who knows. It's real. I can prove it. When we have a break, I'll show you.
Oh,
But-
Jesus Christ. Okay. You keep pulling out all these words. Like you say like Vibo and like Viso.
The Zebo, please. It's the most prestigious console ever manufactured by a toy company. A toy and cell phone company.
Holy crap. Take us away, John. Take us away.
All right, so second draft pick here. It's already funny how I'm already considering my honorable mentions too, because hearing the picks that we've had so far, I get the feeling that none of us are going to pick a Mario. I think one of the most mainstream picks that I made was probably just Link previously. So I'm going to have to go with one of my boys here. I'm picking Solid Snake.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That's great.
Yeah, Solid Snake
dude.
is a cool dude. He's the man. It's one of those weird instances where you have this character who is an amalgamation of all of these fixations with like military stuff and being a spy, but also being a clone and having a tortured past. But he's not like disturbed or haunted by it. He's a fully realized person. And while you see that, you don't really necessarily see that growth immediately from like the NES version of Metal Gear. You're just a guy doing your job. Like you can sum up his entire initial character as he is a professional, he is a soldier who does a very specific job, and he's going to go do it. Works with the Green Berets, works with all these military affiliations, and he has a very strident, policy when it comes to engaging with people. Because when you have to fight your best friend barehanded in a minefield, you can't have emotions about that. You're two professionals doing your job. So that informs a lot of his very gruff exterior. And then over the course of the Metal Gear Solid franchise, you see him basically open up as he, falls in love with Meryl. He meets Otacon. He, has the family ties and butting heads with his brother and the entire FASSounds organization, which he used to be a partner to. Watching that evolution of somebody who very much could have been that very 2000s dickhead protagonist for seemingly no reason other than I kill people for a living, so of course I'm an asshole. Like, he grows into it more. And instead of, re-enlisting and being in the military anymore, being called back into service like the friggin' 90s action movie hero that they were trying to make him out to be, he goes into a philanthropic group and basically hunts down, like, renegade Metal Gears and making sure that nuclear deterrence is a thing that's shared with everybody. And he takes Otacon with him. And then they raise a child together, so...
Hell yeah. Right on.
Yeah. That guy has lived a life.
Yes, he has. And the fact that when you see old Snake for the first time and you're just like, how the hell? And it's just like, well, because of your advanced genetics and cloning technology, you're probably going to die soon anyway. And the whole arc of Metal Gear Solid 4 where he's like, I'm quitting smoking. It's like, oh, that's going to help. The only thing that's keeping you alive is the preservatives in those cigarettes, Snake. Keep smoking.
I missed out on the Metal Gear Solid train. I only played like most of Metal Gear Solid 5 because I got into it way late, and that's not even Solid Snake, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up.
It's funny because it's the way that the Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Big Boss kind of relationship works is that they're while they're not like interchangeable, that entire family is just made up of very similar circumstances. So you could totally see Solid Snake doing what Big Boss did at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3 in Arlington, doing the salute and crying. Like, they're big, tough, strong family members, but they're also big softies too, somehow. Like, somehow their life hasn't eroded their sense of heroism, decency, honor, and all the other good values that a protagonist, I feel, can certainly have and demonstrate.
Do you think we will ever see a new Metal Gear Solid game?
No.
With the wave of nostalgia that is literally taking everybody by storm, I think it will be a franchise that gets touched upon once the well starts to run dry.
When Konami can fleece more money out of starved people like me, like, instead of making pachinko machines, like. But the biggest insult to me was when Konami announced the Metal Gear Solid 3 pachinko machine, and they had these fully re-rendered cutscenes in the Fox engine, and they looked gorgeous.
What the fuck, dude?
And I'm like, God is dead.
It's so sad.
Well, I mean, they brought Suikoden 1 and 2 back, and their plan is to keep on bringing their stuff back. So if all the stuff they're bringing back does well, why not? Because right now that well is just kind of dry. Like, if you want anything military-esque in any form or fashion, you're stuck with Modern Warfare 2 or go load up Battlefield 2042 and pray to God it works.
No. I want to play one more good Contra game before I die.
Now you're asking too much.
Oh, shut up.
It's my turn now, right? Is that the order that we decided?
I believe so.
Okay.
Proceed.
I am going to pick a person who is the best role model anyone could ever want to be. Of course, Professor Layton.
Oh, that's a good one. A true
cut.
gentleman never leaves a puzzle unsolved.
Exactly. Professor Layton is just the kindest, gentlemanly man you will ever meet. He does not care who you are, where you're from. He wants to help you, and he'll solve your puzzles. And he's got Luke that's tagging along, and Luke's kind of a brat sometimes. He's like, "Don't do that, Luke. Be a gentleman." And he's like, "But I want the candy." And he's like, "No, Luke. We wait."
And then and he'll rock your fucking shit if he needs to. Like, he does apparently kung fu, and he's like a really good like sword fighter and fencer and shit. Like, he'll fuck your shit up if you fuck around. Like, just fuck around and find out. Is Professor Layton's motto.
We know where the Kingsman movie came from now.
Yes, Professor Layton.
One good
I need
Kingsman
to watch that.
movie.
Pretend it's Professor Layton. He's always like 3 steps ahead in his head, but he doesn't tell anyone yet. So like at the end, he's like, "Yep, I knew this 4 hours ago."
So he's Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that shit. That's the funny. That reminds me of like, I can't nail down any specific movie or show, but it's just
Jurassic Park.
Like, nope.
The
There
Terminator.
we go. Yep. It's
Sandlot.
like I knew this was gonna happen. I didn't say anything. I knew it was gonna happen. I didn't tell you guys, but I knew it though. So in your face.
Like, I'm gonna make an anime reference. James will be proud of me. It's getting really dangerous to like Kirito territory, where like, yeah, I'm over leveled and I could save your lives, but instead I'm gonna watch these friends of mine die in this dungeon. That was the thing. Part of it. I got to episode 2 of that series. And I'm like, nope.
Another way that you know that he's a good role model is when you submit an answer for a puzzle and it does those 3 frames of his reaction. When he gives you that sad face on the 2nd frame and he's just like disappointed in you and like, "I'm sorry, Professor. I was really stupid. That was stupid of me. I don't know why I thought that was the answer."
I'm sorry, Dad. I love
Can we get a mod of this game where Professor Layton is replaced with Bayonetta, but when you don't pass the test, you get disciplined.
I love where this is going. Oh, dude.
Sold everybody else. Bayonetta, Professor Bayonetta. Oh my god.
And then when you
the hair monster comes out.
Smashing
Excellent, darling.
Yes, there we go. I was trying to do it, but I couldn't. Perfect.
If you want a sexy British lady voice, you holler at your boy.
He's been practicing for years.
I do moonlight some places. Anyway, but I believe it's James' turn now. Professor Layton's a good pick.
Thank you.
Speaking of sultry vixens, what do you got, James?
James.
So
Yeah, it's James.
yeah, hey, it's me. So obviously Robbins is kind of a deep cut. This next pick, so when I think of protagonist, I want to see like the hardcore protagonist. You want to see like the progression over time. And with Mega Man X, we get that progression over time. From the start of it, Zero's discovered, the virus infects like Wily's old virus from back in the day, which should be gone, infects Sigma and sets the Maverick Wars on its course. Like Mega Man X, he's your stoic, silent protagonist for the most part. He'll speak and everything, but nothing really. But like he's like honest, he's good, just like he's just fighting for like the betterment of everything. And as the series progresses, like he just starts to see like, hey, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, how good that I'm being, this shit's still fucked. And eventually, at the end of the Mega Man X arc, he joins with Mother Elf and he's like, hey, you guys have done your thing. I'm out. You guys can figure it out. And the world literally has to figure itself out because its protagonist got ran off because the world's filled with assholes.
It's what's also great in terms of X as a character is that you see that arc. You see the arc of someone who is very insecure in his abilities in the first game, literally being saved by his mentor figure, who is Zero, and then gradually becoming more and more jaded as the fighting continues, to the point where Mega Man X7 doesn't even let you play as X to start. He's like a council member of like the Maverick Hunter Association. And so like you see his kind of conflict as like, wow, Dr. Light had it right. Robots can feel. Holy crap, this is new and different. And of course, since they can, now they can go rogue and go insane and do all sorts of things that basically you need to put them down. It's like that probably would screw up a lot of people.
Like every time you feel like he's coming out ahead, you defeat Sigma X1, 2, 3, all the way up. Like the next one just kind of like trudges him through the mud all over again. And he still comes out on top. He's still our hero, but you can see like the mud is sticking, like the layers of character development are sticking to the point where even he's questioning, is this even worth it? And I just think that's really cool to see a protagonist go through that level of just like everything. Like
it even happens in the original. I consider Mega Man and Mega Man X like a twofer when it comes to protagonists because there are some shared elements between them. It happened even in the original Mega Man series, Mega Man 7, when Mega Man threatens to kill Dr. Wily in a cutscene. He's like, it's like, no, robots can't harm humans. He's like, I am more than a robot. And he raises his little gun and it's like, oh my God.
I played a good amount of Mega Man, but I had no idea like the story was that deep. That's cool as fun.
Yeah.
That was an awesome pick.
I've never played a Mega Man, so I didn't know there was a story at all.
This conversation is over.
So, all right, Tommy, I have a challenge for you.
Uh-oh.
You can choose
boy.
A,
Not one of these.
or you have to choose A or B. I'm not going to tell you what either one is. You just got to pick a letter.
B.
Both of them do involve Mega Man
B.
in some way.
B.
He said B.
You have to go and watch the entire Mega Man animated series.
How long
Which
is
one?
that?
Which one?
2 seasons.
Oh,
Two
okay.
seasons, like 20-minute episodes. And literally, the next time I talk to you, I just expect to hear Super Fighting Robot,
Okay.
Mega Man.
I can
The
try.
original voice of Goku is the voice of Mega Man.
Whoa.
Wait, are you talking about like the old, like the 80s series, or are you talking about like the one that was on Foxbox in like the early 2000s, the Mega Man?
The 90s Ruby Spears cartoon.
Yep.
Okay, that one I don't know. Damn it, I thought you were doing like the whole battle chip in and download one. 'Cause that was cool.
Hey, Mega Man Battle Network, not bad. Like Mega Man Star Force, those guys are cool, but neither one of them hold a candle to the protagonist. That is Mega Man or Mega Man X.
I need to talk about this now because you brought it up. But the first episode is like Bomb Man, Cut Man, Fireman, Gutsman,
Yeah,
all those
dude.
guys taking down JFK Airport. And there's this one lowly guy who's like, it's all Dr. Light's fault. If he never invented robots, none of this would have ever happened. And then you go to the crime lab where Mega Man's like, looks like Wily and his slime bots are at it again. It's like, yes, go get him.
Sounds
I don't
amazing.
need any girl robots getting in my way.
Sounds amazing.
I love early 2000s Saturday morning cartoons. This is a deep cut, but does anybody remember Fighting Foodons?
I knew that's what you were
I
going to
do.
say.
Anybody?
Yep.
Okay, Fighting Foodons is like it's the prime example of stupid early 2000s cartoons. Like you had like fried ricer and hot dog on it, and the burnt meatballs. Tommy, do you remember those?
I
Tommy?
remember the show, but I don't remember specifics.
Oh man, it's on Amazon Prime, the video thing. You're gonna watch it right after this, right?
Yeah, I'm going to watch every show that you guys recommend to me. I promise.
Then you gotta tell me which foodon is your favorite. If it's not fried ricer, I'm gonna freak out.
Okay.
And then go watch the Moncoli Nights and Flint the Time Detective. And
Oh my god, there you go.
Hey, look, revert it back, Samurai Pizza Cats. Let's just go
Yes.
with the show that decided to say, you know what? Cool, you gave us the translation. fuck that. We don't care about this translation. We're going to do it our own way.
We're going to make our own abridged series.
Oh, or like the One Piece 4Kids dub theme song where it's like,
Yeah, yo, yeah.
yeah, yo, yeah,
It's rapping. They're rapping with pirates. Yeah.
Dude, speaking of rapping pirate, no, fuck.
Always do this.
Yeah, speaking of rapping pirates, my next pick, since James did a like a not main character, but still I guess is a protagonist. I'm gonna do it, Tommy. I'm gonna bring up Final Fantasy IX. I'm gonna fucking do it. You can't stop me.
What?
I'm gonna go with Vivi.
Hey!
Vivi's got like the best character development in any Final Fantasy game ever. I love him so much. He just starts out as just a little shy, I guess, like easygoing, doesn't know anything about the world, black mage, and like right at the beginning of the game is basically where his grandpa died, and he was just like venturing out in the world on his own and everything, getting into trouble with Puck, the little rat boy. But yeah, eventually you find out in the game, I guess spoilers or whatever, I don't give a shit. It's from 1999. If you haven't played it, fuck you. You find out that black mages are just these artificially created beings that are like that. Their sole purpose is just fighting or I guess like basically slavery, like loading up cargo onto ships or just building shit. And eventually, you know, Vivi. Well, I shouldn't say eventually. You know, Vivi sees them and figures all this out, and he kind of has his own little existential crisis, and he just like, whoa, man, like why aren't I like this lifeless fucking puppet? Like what's going on, man? Where did I come from? Like who the hell am I actually? Then he has like even more of an existential crisis when you get to this. I forget if it's when you get to the Black Mage Village or some other place, but you find out that the Black Mages, they don't have like a definite. I guess they have like an estimated time span, but it's a lot shorter than humans. It's like 1 or 2 years, if even that. And so Vivi's like, holy shit, like I could die like any day now, like any minute now. You know, he goes through this little spiral of, I guess, depression and everything. And
I know, I'm just picturing him in like 7-Eleven, and people like buying candy. He's like, "What are you doing buying candy? We're all gonna die."
Of course, the main character of Final Fantasy IX, Zidane, basically being like a big brother to Vivi, and the other characters too. They snap Vivi out of it. They're like, "Hey, dude, like just make the best out of what little time you have. Like that's what really matters. Like we're all best buds. Let's go whoop ass together and do cool shit." And Vivi's like, "Well, yeah, okay, cool, yeah. Make the best out of the time you have." And then eventually you see Zidane go through the same thing because he's also a genetically, or not artificially produced being, and Zidane kind of goes through the same thing. He's like, "Well, you know, what's the point of anything if I'm just this pre-programmed fucking machine or whatever? Like, what's the point of any of it?" Vivi's just like, "Hey, dude, remember what you told me? Like, do your own thing, man."
Same thing.
Yeah, but you're stupid and you bought that shit.
The end cutscene, like seeing Vivi's character progression, and then you fight Kuja. If you're a glutton for punishment, you've done everything you need to do to fight Ozma.
I thought you said Cujo for a second. I'm like, the dog?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they're enemies to monkey-tailed people. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you get that scene at the end, time has passed, and they don't do it in a way where, you know, Vivi's still here. Like, Vivi's gone, and you see his children, like, taking it on, and it's like a full circle. And to tie that mortality, like, at the very end, when the cutscene is supposed to be, you know, all pomp, circumstance, and happy, like, you can't help but be like, my guy, you were amazing, and fuck, you're dead. Oh my god, I hate this. But damn, you were cool.
And it wasn't that much longer after the game ended that you see, because don't you also see like Vivi's hat on his gravestone or like on his grave or something like that? Man, that sucks. Vivi's just such a good character, man. Like he makes the absolute best out of such a shit ass situation. But yeah,
Hironobu Sakaguchi, make Final Fantasy IX 2 and make it great again.
Make Zidane. I'm saying Zidane now. Damn it! I call him Zidane because Zinedine Zidane, the soccer player. But I also I want to stress when I die, I want my epitaph to be: "We're sorry you're dead, but damn, you were cool."
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be cool.
My second pick is "Look Behind You." Just imagine go to a graveyard and be like, "Oh, shit!"
And then your ghost is like, "Haha, made you look."
Bitch. Pushes him in the grave. I like the fact that our picks are actually getting like the emotional resonance, like the esteem like that they deserve. Like our picks are rationed and reasoned and emotional. So best favorite is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, absolutely. Best favorite.
Best
Favorite. It's not favorite best. Get it right. But while I know that there was kind of a dig at the type of early 2000s, like mid 2000s edgy protagonists, you look at your Dantes from your Devil May Cry, your Jack Caymans from Mad World and stuff like that. I think my third pick, honestly, will have to go to at least original Kratos from God of War.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So it's the people who played the games, you know the story about how he was a great warrior. He pleaded with Ares to get divine power, the Blades of Chaos, because he was a Spartan and he was ruthless, all that sorts of stuff, eventually leading him to kill his family, and the fact that his curse is to basically walk the plains of the world, basically just completely caked in the ashes of his dead family. Now that's edgy, fuckboy material right there for a protagonist, but in terms of actually giving him some actual character depth, what actually helped is just the actual depth of his love for his family. And you don't really get to explore that too much in the mainline games, but on the PSP games, you do. And one of the things I always like to harp on, especially on our show, Games with Jon and James, is that I feel like game elements and story elements have to reinforce one another. There's a reason why interactive storytelling is so compelling, is because you can tell the story sometimes with your own interactivity with it. There's a reason why people love the ending of The Last of Us, the first game, because you're conflicted about how, do we want to spoil? Whatever, it's a TV show. Joel goes around killing people to save Ellie because Ellie's death would presumably save hundreds, but the emotional attachments, blah, 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 blah. Like, you form the connections there. So in Ghost of Sparta, is it Ghost of Sparta? No, is it Chains of Olympus? I think it's Chains of Olympus. Ghost of Sparta is the second one. You finally make it to Elysium. You go through Hades in the underworld to get to Elysium to find your daughter Calliope. You finally make it by surrendering basically all of your demigod-like power, your Blades of Chaos, all the stuff that you've leveled up throughout the game. You basically scrub that all away so you could enter Elysium to be with your daughter. However, all of the things that you did to get there have pissed off Persephone and Hades so much that Persephone is going to basically raise the underworld and destroy everything there, meaning that the everlasting peace that his daughter is going to have will be completely destroyed, and even fighting to get there will be all for nothing. Now, people who've played the original God of War games know that there's QuickTime events and points where you have to bash the button to like open a chest or do something, and they're all tagged with these like vicious animations of him brutally killing something or even just like ripping a chest open. Very violent, very aggressive animations. At that point in the game, you have fought your way to be with your daughter, and upon realizing that the only way to save your daughter's life is to kill Persephone, get your powers back, and go back to the land of the living, the prompt comes up to mash the circle button, and you gently have to push your daughter away from you as she clings onto your leg, saying, "No, Daddy, don't leave me." And I'm like, "Oh!" Man. And then he gets his weapons back, snaps back into defend mode, and right in front of his daughter does these horrendous, heinous things to all these enemies around you, and you're like, "Oh boy!"
If I remember right, isn't it in like a bright light field? Like,
yep, it's in Elysium,
like the happiest place in the world.
You're literally in underworld heaven. Yes.
God damn, that sucks, dude.
It sucks, but I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I play video games. This is why I like these characters and these stories. And even when he sentences Atlas to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, it's like even the gods did not wish this upon Atlas. And it's like, why do you still trust them? It's like, that's all I have. It's like, yeah, I get it, man.
Yeah, amazing.
So, and then they make 2 other games, and I have mixed feelings on that.
Jon is in a community that he believes God of War and God of War Ragnarok are bastardized versions of the originals.
I mean, they have their moments. I just don't care. I don't want to play the games. They're not fun.
I was trying to fan your flame to let you just have like this righteous fury moment, and then you didn't even have a flame. You were like a match burning out in the wind.
He's like Kratos.
Mm-hmm. I'm learning. I'm steadily becoming a better dad.
My turn. Speaking of people named John, I gotta go with the most obvious pick for me in the world, and it's John Marston from Red Dead Redemption 1.
Yes,
I have to. One thing I like about John Marston as like a character that you play as is he's a big dummy. Like, he is shown over and over again to be just not like, everyone makes fun of him for being dumb. He's not like this super smart guy who figures things out. He's just really good at killing people, and that's why he was a part of the bandit gang in the past. But at the start of Red Dead Redemption 1, he's done with that. He's got a family. He's like, I somehow managed to accidentally make my way through it, and it all gets taken away from him. And so he's got to go back to his old ways to try and save his family. And I just think he's an interesting, flawed character, because he's done some really bad things, and he continues to do bad things to save his family, and he has to kind of deal with it. There's even a side mission where he has to go through the morality things, and he gets questioned, like, are you a good person or not? Because you did a lot of bad things. And I don't know if he definitely has his own opinion of if he's a good person or not, but I like that you kind of get to decide that too, and see if, like, does your present and future actions make up for your past actions? He's a great lens to look at the world that way.
I think it's almost as if the title of the game is Redemption.
yeah, right? Can you redeem yourself for your past horribleness?
Yeah, and I think Rockstar Games has a very much an infatuation with that type of protagonist, the idea of somebody being pulled back into unfair and sometimes even heinous things that ultimately will lead to some type of, like, comeuppance or some type of redemption. So again, Red Dead Redemption totally makes sense.
Even there was you can be exploring around, and he finds an old man, and he's like, oh, it's my wife's birthday coming up, and I'd like to get her a bouquet of flowers. And John's like, oh, I'll get you some flowers. And you go around and just collect flowers for this guy in the middle of his murdering spree. Like, he really tries his best to be a nice person.
That's cool.
I'm nice and sweet, but I'll also fill you full of lead.
Exactly. Yes.
And then we see that echoed with Arthur. We also see that, echoed with Arthur in the second game, where it's just like, you're filled with the joy of springtime, and no, sorry, this is a robbery. You're getting robbed, friend. That's my Arthur impersonation.
It's good.
Well, thank you.
Man, these are all such emotional picks, man. I didn't think this topic was going to be so emotional. I just kind of came up with this on the spur of the moment, but it was good.
We're all going to get a beer and a big old bro cry. We'll dude it up somewhere.
Yes.
Only bros cry. My next one. So, one of the games that consumed my soul for almost 7 years of my life. Within this game, there was one character who is literally the idyllic version of a hero, and that's Arthas Menethil. Y'all might better know him as the Lich King, Arthas from World of Warcraft.
Holy shit, I had no idea this was going this way.
So Arthas, he becomes a paladin at 19, like literally just wants to lead in his, like, follow his father's footsteps. He wants to bring light to the world. He wants to eventually stop the scourge, which are coming in. So he becomes a paladin. He has all, like, his ideals are amazing. Like, this dude is the embodiment of living by the light. And as the scourge just never ends, he slowly starts losing his humanity. And that hero starts showing, like, cracks in his armor. He literally like, at all costs, like, he blows up towns. Like, he poisoned a town. Like, when you start off as a Death Knight, you learn the history of, oh, by the way, Arthas, before he went crazy, he poisoned this town to prevent the scourge from coming here. And it didn't. Like, he goes off the deep end. And in his zany quest, I use zany there. I have no other word for it right now, but
No, I was good.
he goes to Northrend because he's like, I'm going to find where the scourge come from. And he finds they're coming up from the northern continent, pulls this sword, Frostmourne, literally, like, his soul is gone, and now he's just abhorrently evil. Comes back, commits patricide, kills his dad, like, just every unspeakable act, and you just get to kind of see this perfect rise and fall of a hero. But even with all of this going on, because he takes control of the scourge while he has Frostmourne, if you look deep into it, he's actually not allowing the scourge to just run rampant. He's keeping them contained and controlled. That very small part of him that wanted to stop it succeeded at the price of becoming the ultimate evil.
Damn.
Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't
Heroic
expect
sacrifice. Yeah.
Didn't expect that from World of Warcraft. That's cool as hell.
Like, If that character could still be around, or we could get more characters like modeled that way, oof.
It's is it break time?
I think it's break time.
Let me check with the ref. Yes.
All right, we'll be back.
Hey superstars, are you a coffee addict looking for your next big caffeine fix? Or are you just tired of all the normal boring coffee options out there now? Well, you need to check out Bones Coffee. Bones Coffee has lots of different varieties of coffee flavors. They've got things like red velvet, cookies and cream, s'mores. They've got one that's called Jamaican Me Crazy that's really good. It's like caramel vanilla rum kind of thing. But they also have just your usual, salted caramel and French vanilla and all that stuff. They even have decaf and what's called high voltage, which is just extra strength. And they've also got espresso. They've got all sorts of cool stuff. Plus, if you use coupon code Super Pod Saga at checkout, you'll get 20% off of your order. And again, that's Super Pod Saga at checkout to get 20% off. You can also follow the link in our episode description. And yeah, why not use that one-time coupon code? Like I said, 20% off. It's great. Head over to bonescoffee.com. Get yourself some coffee, some cool gear like mugs or French press kits, stuff like that. Check it out. Okay, bye.
Hey, Tommy.
Yeah, Aaron?
Hey, are you tired of trying to grow grass in your lawn or take care of the grass in your lawn? Are you tired of that?
You bet. My grass is far too long right now because I'm too lazy to mow.
You know what? Let me introduce to you Spray On Grass. If there's a patch of your lawn that just doesn't grow for whatever the hell reason, Spray On Grass. You spray it on. I don't know how the hell it works. You spray it and it looks like fresh or freshly cut, perfect green grass. How about that?
Oh my gosh, could I do this in my home too?
You bet your ass you could. You can spray it on the floor, on the wall, spray it on like a grass marker if you wanted to. That'd be cool. Do it.
I'm going
grass.
to. What? Oh my gosh, can I spray it on my car?
Yeah, you can spray it on your cat if you want to. Just buy it.
Okay, can I spray it on like an item like a baseball bat? Does it have to be a heavy thing, a big thing?
It could be it could be literally anything. I mean, you could spray it onto like a picture and hang it onto the wall. Just have a big clump of grass on your wall. Spray it onto your TV. You could spray it onto anything, Tommy.
Aaron, can I spray it on my Xbox controller? What about my clothes?
You could, but your Xbox would then become useless. I mean, you do it on your clothes too, though. That'd be cool. You could wear grass. That's fine.
What happens if I spray it on a candle and then light the candle?
You just burn grass. I guess it wouldn't light very well, but I mean, it'd burn eventually.
Okay, but what if I already have grass and I spray it on that?
It just looks like freshly cut, perfect green grass.
I love it. I'll take 20.
What, James? What's your? What do you think of spray on grass?
Must go fast. Get some spray on grass.
There we go. Don't be an ass. Get spray on grass.
Yes.
What about you, John? What's your experience been like with spray on grass?
Can you spray it on my head and make it so I look like a full head of hair?
Hell yeah, you can. Absolutely.
It's about time.
Oh man, thanks.
It looks
spray
so
on
good
grass.
on that dome.
It totally would. I want a mohawk. I'll get a little lawnmower, go across it, get the little faux hawk shape going on. Hell yeah, I'm gonna be styling, baby.
Absolutely, hell yeah. If you call now, we'll throw in a free gift. We'll add in a little mini lawn. It's supposed to be like a beard shape, or no, yeah, I guess like a little hair trimmer. Yeah, but it's shaped like a lawnmower, and it even makes you have the pull start it too. That's
It's
cool.
got a little pull start.
The little tiny pull start. Hey, Spray on Grass. Thanks for sponsoring this episode.
Thanks, spray on grass. We're back?
I think we're back. Yeah, we're back.
Check the signals.
Yep.
All right, we're back.
We did it.
A dinosaur
We
story.
survived.
I blacked out there for a second. I just mowed my lawn. What's happening?
We all mowed our lawn over the break.
Hey, it's summer. You got to get that looking pristine. The pool party's gonna show up soon.
Oh, could you imagine? Yeah, putting some spray on grass on your chest and just being like a full
Yes.
grass Sasquatch, grass squatch.
Grass squat.
grass
Is
golem.
that a thing?
Grasswatch
the,
sounds like a strain you'd pick up somewhere.
That's the mask. That's the mascot for Spray on Grass. He's a grass
The grass
squatch. He
squatch. Oh my gosh.
just walks up to the screen. Hey kids,
Kids.
don't eat
Hold
this
on.
or something.
Just pulls off a patch of grass. Spray on grass for your ass.
Just get
Well,
Terry Crews in a Yeti costume, paint it green, and you got a mascot.
No, Terry Tate, office linebacker. If you're not using spray on grass, Terry Tate lays you out.
Yes.
I was thinking Jason Statham. He's like doing flips and like running across, like running along the walls and shit. He's spraying grass as he goes.
I also love how Terry Tate, not his real name, but he was Coltrane in Gears of War.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, yeah, speaking of Coltrane, we'll go with the last two. My last pick is Neku Sakuraba from The World Ends With You.
Oh, I see that
Wow.
connection. I see that connection.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean for there to be
No,
a
I was
connection
kidding.
at all. Okay.
Everybody knows that Neku is a huge dude who's super strong and shoots guns real good, just like Neku.
Loves to mow his lawn like a typical Texan. Boy, I tell you what. That's Neku's tagline.
a furry? Oh my god.
But well, yeah, Neku's cool. I mean, he starts off like a dick. He's all introverted and like antisocial and fucking hates people. But over the course of the game, he sees just countless people either like killed or erased, or like, I guess, yeah, killed or erased. And he makes quite a few friends. Like, he'll start off like, I don't even know why we're doing this whole game. Like, I don't even know what's the point. Like, why are we even doing this? Maybe it's better if we were just erased and we didn't have to do all this shit. And, you know,
I remember being 15 too, yeah.
yeah, basically just being a freshly peach buzzed 15-year-old. But yeah, like toward the end though, he learns that, you know, friends, but people in general, you know, are, I mean, not bad, but yeah, especially like right at the end of the game, it's super emotional. Neku, it's a good one. The World Ends With You is a good game. Weird, but it's a good game.
Very weird.
Don't play the Switch version. Duly noted. I played the DS version when that game first came out.
It's the best one.
That was the perfect intersection of everything that Square, I think, it tries to be but fails to. Like, seriously, they have a really strong aesthetic, they have really likable characters, a really unique premise, unique gameplay, and all of it intersected into like that one perfect version of that game, and then they never found it again.
And I still don't, I know that the 3DS, like at the time of when like the Switch version came out, I know the 3DS was basically slowly dying, but if they had just remastered or remade like the DS version for 3DS, that would have been like the best way to play the game. I've beaten the Switch version.
It's the controls. Like, the controls in the DS version helped so much with that game. Like, you were immersed.
And
Like,
they removed
Square-
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yep, Square. Fix it.
Speaking of dying, what you got, John?
What's
Speaking
your
of
last pick,
dying,
John, before you die?
What's my last pick? Before I die, let's see. Aloy, no. Absolutely not. No. I was going to leave this for honorable mentions, but I'm actually going to move him up the tier list here because I think one of the things that makes a character your favorite, not necessarily like a good protagonist, but something you can very eerily relate to. I don't think anybody remembers this game but me, I swear to God. But back in the day, People Can Fly was a Polish studio that made really awesome Twitch, like before the term boomer shooter existed, like really Twitch Gen X fast-paced shooters that were really awesome. Then they teamed up with Epic. And while they did get pushed into the minds of things like Outriders and the original Gears of War Judgment and stuff, before that, they worked with EA to make a game called Bulletstorm.
Yeah, I
and
remember
Bulletstorm is freaking awesome. And as soon as I saw the main character and saw what he looked like, and I was just like, and even just played the game and heard him talking, I was like, oh, they put me in a video game. So like, and what's funny too is that my best friend's a Japanese dude from my hometown. So I'm just like, oh shit, we could be Ishii and Grayson. Holy shit. So Grayson Hunt is definitely one of my favorite protagonists because at no point is he truly redeemed over the course of the game, but he does his best and tries his hardest in his most ass way possible, and it's nothing but entertaining and fun. And even just seeing some of the more sincere moments where like the tonal shift is so kind of weird, where you're watching like you basically just shot a dude in the dick and then kicked his head off, but then you're just like, you know, hey man, I'm sorry that, you know, you're in this whole predicament because of me, but we're still buds, right? And it's like, sure. And then he commands a giant, you know, raging, you know, monster alien thing that blows up and eats people. So
As one does.
yeah.
Yep.
And
It
the game
happens.
also has a terribly filthy mouth, and I'm known to do that too.
Nice. Bulletstorm. I love that we got Bulletstorm in on this podcast.
Hell yeah. And then they made it better by putting Duke Nukem in the game.
Forgot about that. Nice.
Amazing.
I thought I told you to shut that computer off, not look up the Wholesome Twins. And turn that porn machine off.
The Olsen twins. I forgot they existed too. Holy
They
shit.
did exist.
Wow. Full House was so long ago.
My last pick, I'm going to kind of wrap it around to the beginning with what Aaron did. I love Kazuma Kiryu. Oh my gosh, Kiryu is so
dude,
cool.
yeah.
He's the coolest guy in the world. He fights people real good, and he like does all these crazy moves, and he just we say this a lot, but he wants to help everyone. He's just a nice fellow, and he's kind of oblivious to the world, which makes it even better. Like, people will come to him with problems that he's never experienced in his life, and he's just like, well, if you need me to help you with these weird diaper men, I guess I'll do it. And I just love his attitude towards the world. And even like, he's even got his rival in Majima, and it's not like the typical video game rivalries where it's a fight to the death. It's this weird friendly thing where he doesn't even, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe their thing, but it's just a breath of fresh air to just have a oblivious goon who's really good at fighting and cares about his family and friends. And it's basically the same as what Aaron said with his character, but in a different character.
Hell yeah.
I think would it be fair to say that, like, I don't think Kazuma is very capable, but I don't think he's the most intelligent person in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a prevailing thought in certain communities and people who like certain characters and archetypes and stuff like that, that even in the real world, people would view like evil brilliance as more valuable than than earnest like stupidity, you know? Like, being a good person who might not be the most intelligent doesn't have any practical applications, whereas like evil genius does. I'm like, no, I think you want people to not be dicks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it means it's time for my final pick.
Yes.
And I've been bouncing into my head as you guys were talking, because I was gonna have this as my final pick, but it's gonna go to the honorable mention. Chrono from Chrono Trigger's my honorable mention. Mm-hmm. As much as I love that game, arguably it's my favorite game of all time, I'm going with Velvet Crowe from Tales of Berseria.
Oh, midriff.
Never played that one.
So this game, well, more spoilers for you, Aaron. Enjoy.
That's fine, man. I'm sure they'll never bring it to anything else because they hate us.
Hey, it's on PS4. We're still good.
I don't have a PS4.
It's on.
What do you have?
I have everything but a PS4.
So you have an Xbox then?
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, so Velvet Crowe. So it opens up like your typical Tales game. Seems kind of happy-go-lucky. It literally opens up. It's Velvet, her little brother Laphicet, and this guy named Artorias. Artorias married Velvet's older sister. She had died due to demons. They were called Therions.
It's always demons.
It's always.
It's this happy opening scene where go get some boars, get some pig meat, blah blah blah. We're gonna have a good family dinner.
I'm really sorry. I want to jump in really quick. It's like, imagine like it's like, oh, it got killed by demons. Like, no, one of these days I want to see like a JRPG or something where like, yeah, they got hit by a car. It was a terrible accident.
I mean, have you played Ni no Kuni?
Yeah, Ni no Kuni.
His mom drowns, man.
Also in Twewi, it happens there when Beat jumps in front of Rhyme.
Oh, yes, that's right. Fuck.
Yeah. But
Oh, I
it seems
made
like a
that
really
connection.
practical, like important thing. But I just love the idea in this
Demons.
like little holistic village of like ancient stuff. They're just like beep beep. Sorry, you can continue, James. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, derailed. But you come back to the house, it's empty, and then you're like, what's going on? You go back into the woods. You see Laphicet floating in the air, and then Artorias completes some spell, and your little brother literally gets impaled and killed in front of your eyes.
Ouchie.
And instead of doing what normally would happen, like it's like, no, you don't see it. They literally show the animation and the blood going everywhere. And you start like you go fast forward 3 years. Your protagonist is kind of an anti-hero because all she wants to do is kill the guy that killed her brother, and she doesn't care if she destroys the world in the process. And you get to see the story told differently. You see the story told from someone full of hate, full of like just spite and just malice. Because I mean, she just watched her little brother get impaled, and she herself becomes a demon, which is ridiculous. Like one of the best stories in a Tales game ever. And along the way, she slowly lets her humanity kind of come back into it to where it culminates at the very end in this amazingly powerful moment of she understands that she's also now part of the reason the whole world is just fucked, and it's up to her to not let it be fucked anymore.
Stop the fucking.
Like, she sacrifices herself to just be with her brother's spirit for the next 1,000 years. And that final scene is just it's so visceral. It's just a perfect full circle story.
Damn.
My favorite part of that game is in the intro, and you meet the character who, in every other video game, would be the protagonist, and you set his face on fire.
Jesus Christ.
Suck a dick, pretty boy.
He stops at, so to get revenge, like, we always, like, most people picture your protagonist as, oh, it's your Mario, your Sonic, like, there's a lot of positivity, you're, fighting the bad guy, fighting the good fight. She literally is like, you know what? I'm going to fight my fight. I don't care if I burn this guy's face off. She literally destroys a whole town for her own ends, like, ruins a naval passage, like, the one passageway through this, like, the strait. She just destroys it just to get what she wants. And then as she's realizing, maybe I'm the bad guy here.
Are we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
Oops. Our hats have skulls on them.
Well, shit, man.
That's it. Honorable mentions.
Okay, so my first one is Rain from Xenoblade Chronicles, because he's the ultimate bro. And Donna from Ys 8. I had another one, but I lost it. I'll come back with it.
Okay.
If I can jump in, then I have a few picks. So, first honorable mention would probably go to the kind of split between Cole McGrath and Delson Rowe, Infamous franchise, because one of the things that Infamous 2 and by proxy Infamous Second Son got really right was, like, the good and evil choices are not just good and evil binary choices. They're like the selfish versus the selfless path, and they define that by, like, the things that they did and the characters they interact with. Also, Delson Rowe, just as a character I immediately relate to, being from the PNW area. So there you go. Other than that, I think an honorable mention would also go to shit. What was I thinking here? I did Link. I did that guy. I kind of want to just give it to Gordon Freeman. I really do.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good one.
Like, the idea of, like, because I remember when they did interviews with Gabe Newell, and he was talking about the nature of first-person shooters and how, like, people have such a different mentality when it comes to being these characters in these games. It's like, I'm a person in a shooting gallery, so now I have to go and shoot all the targets. Whereas he's like, no, I feel like the target in a shooting gallery, and I need to get the hell out of there. And so he tried to communicate that with how, like, things happen in the game world and stuff. So I'm like, sweet.
Nice.
Peril in a video game. Stakes? No way.
Who could have imagined? I've got a couple. The first honorable mention, I'm going to say Nathan Drake, just because he is the perfect caricature of that Indiana Jones adventure type.
Indiana Jones meets Dane Cook. Perfect.
Yep. It's the perfect sandwich that you want. He's got the quips. He's got the lines. He's got the ladies, I guess. I don't know.
He's got at least one.
Yeah. He's a cool dude. And then my second one is Oliver from Ni no Kuni. I would have talked about him in the main one, but I always talk about Ni no Kuni, I feel like. But his mom dies, and he gets real sad about it, and he has to figure out how to grow up in the world on his own, and he learns that he can do it.
Good boy, Oliver.
Oliver's good stuff.
Who's the monster with the lantern nose? What's his name?
Drippy.
Yep.
There's a porn parody in there somewhere. Anyway.
So I made mention of him in the episode, Chrono, for just being the epitome of a silent protagonist done right. All of us here definitely felt some type of way when Chrono sacrificed himself in the Lavos fight on a Super Nintendo, of all things, for a silent protagonist to rip out your heartstrings. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then and also seeing who hugs you when you get resurrected.
Yep.
I was like, Luca, hey baby.
I got one. This one is a special shout out to John over here. Jack from Jon.
Jack and Daxter.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
From Mad World?
From Mass Effect.
No, it's from Jack and Daxter. I saw you smile. I wanted to, like, No, so Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, like that whole like kind of tag team dynamic, I think was epitomized perfectly with Jack. Like he had just enough kind of angst to match like the off the cuff humor of Daxter, to where it was really harmonious, and it was really cool to kind of see like as each game progressed, like see the hero evolve. And then my last one, because he came back from the fiery ashes, Hironobu Sakaguchi, he is the ultimate protagonist, because Tetsuya Nomura is batshit fucking crazy with everything going on right now in the Square Enix world. And Hironobu Sakaguchi, you're working with Mistwalker. You released Fantasian on iOS, which if any of you have iPhones or iPads, go play that game. It is a 90-hour like
Oh my gosh.
true
Good
RPG
Lord.
Damn.
on Apple Arcade, and Nobuo Uematsu he got him to come back as the composer.
Nice.
Can I just throw some shade real quick?
Do it.
Can we all agree that Tetsuya Nomura is the J.J. Abrams of video games?
Holy shit.
But yeah,
Only
if you
film
can,
nerds and video game nerds will get that one.
if you can come back and make arguably one of the best turn-based games in recent memory, and like for iOS devices no less, come back and bring all of those franchises back to glory.
He's chilling out on the beach somewhere with like a guy cosplaying as Vivi and then just soaking up some sunshine. I don't think he wants to come back.
Oh, Vivi's soaking up his sunshine.
That's right. TV gets all the ladies.
That's what makes him the
Am I-
best protagonist.
So I
last-
have to
last-
draw that.
Yes.
And that's
The
it.
last honorable mention is Zagreus from Hades. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
good
done.
one. Good one.
Oh,
That's it.
You're supposed
That's
supposed to
it.
see his
That's all the
mom, dude.
protagonists.
Yep,
There aren't
that's
any
it.
more.
I like how there was that solid pause there because we thought about Zagreus as like, oh yeah, that dude's hot.
It's exactly
Did you,
what it was.
while you were playing Hades, did you ever wait around by Hades as the ghosts are coming through? Did you ever see the animations?
Yep.
I don't remember. It's
No.
been so long since I played Hades.
Hades will literally be like, approved. And you see him go to Elysium, and he'll be like, to Tartarus with you. And you just see the soul get like sucked off. It's
Oh.
great.
I love when souls get sucked off, dude. So much
Left
my
it in
soul
their
gets
own
sucked off.
purpose.
It's like a soul job.
That's all of them.
That's it. There's no more protagonists. If you can think of any, though, shout out to us at us on Twitter and stuff. Where can people find you again, Jon and James?
I'll jump in real quick. You can find us on Twitter at Games with J and J. I've steadily been trying to kind of up my engagement there because I think we're making more friends, we're doing more collaborations, so I think more of a presence can be felt there. I haven't made any real enemies, I feel, yet, so I'm going to keep this going.
You can find us on Instagram at Games with Jon and James, or TikTok at Games with Jon and James. We're very active there. I definitely want to know what protagonists you feel did not get represented, so we can continue this dialogue, or just let me know why John's wrong with all of his.
Yes.
No,
either or.
I'm just meeting the one guy who's like, no man, Zool's the best platform game ever.
Zool.
Bubsy 3D, enough said.
Oh my god, Bubsy. Bubsy would get an honorable mention if I was still like 6.
Yes.
Hey, he has another game coming out this year.
Of course.
Kill me.
Where can the people find us, Aaron?
They can find us at superpodsaga.com. It's short and sweet and to the point. All of our past episodes, our blog, and our support page if they want to give us money. Superpodsaga.com.
Yes. And I get to pick the topic for next week. Are you
Are you
ready?
sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Really?
No,
okay,
Next week we are going to talk about our favorite / best controller gimmicks. Like,
Ooh, okay.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, I get it.
Okay,
The
good.
Jaguar number pad, yes.
Oh,
Like,
damn it. Yes,
I'm-
that's a good one.
I'm thinking like
The
a
GameCube keyboard controller.
no,
The
no.
ASCII.
I need to properly explain.
No.
I mean like gimmicks in a game that use the controller in a unique way.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, no, I get you now. My bad.
I automatically know what number 1 is. Okay.
That's what I want to
I
talk
won't
about.
say it here. Spoilers.
Yeah,
Got a
you got to
couple
tune in
ahead
next
now.
week. Tune in next week to the Super Pod Saga. Thank you, James and Jon and James, for being here. You've been wonderful guests, and I learned far too much about JRPGs.
That's a symptom of a greater disease.
Thanks for listening, everyone. You're the best. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.